Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Pat
My name
Downs,
is
and I'm
Pat
the
Downs, and
CEO
I'm
of
the
the
CEO of the Institute of Management Consultants and Advisors here in Ireland.
And I'm delighted on
behalf of the Institute to welcome you here
to this
to this
exciting morning
for us
as we
partner with our colleagues in Google Digital Garage
for this
first out session in terms of digital strategy.
It's a real honor
for us to be working with
the cutting edge, if you will, of technology with the guys and girls in Google. It's been a really positive experience for us thus far, and we're thrilled that so many people are coming into the session from across the world, and particularly welcome all our international colleagues who have joined us here and registered this morning. So look, this is part of a step process. We're going to be working with Google, I suppose, further on throughout the year from September onwards, and we'll be coming back to you with the details of those courses, but we're looking forward to those modules, and hopefully the knowledge that you'll accrue will really help you in your management consultancy journey. To that end, I guess the Institute here in Ireland is, I suppose, part of the fabric of the professional landscape. We are the professionally recognized Institute for Management Consultants and Advisors here in Ireland. And again, our mission is to foster and promote the value, quality and benefits of management consulting as a profession. There is quite a significant cohort of people in the profession in different spaces here in Ireland, and we achieve this fostering and promoting by representing and supporting and indeed measuring the output of quality standards. We also represent the profession by supporting and promoting the value and benefits delivered to your clients. And we accredit and certify members at the respective grades of professional membership within the Institute. To that end, I guess it's fair to say that the membership application process is fairly straightforward and streamlined. A lot of people come in terms of their first step along the path is at associate level, and then on to member level and member grade, and then ultimately on to the fellow grade. Now, sitting adjacent to that, we have the professional grade, CMC, which is the Certified Management Consultant level, and more recently we've got the CHMC, which is quite an exciting development, and we're thrilled to be leading that development here in Ireland, which is the Chartered Management Consultant status, and that's just come online with our colleagues in the UK, and we're getting a lot of interest in that particular area as people wish to kind of bring their accreditation to that particular standard. So we are working with our colleagues in the UK, and we're putting members' applications through at the moment. So contact us if you want some further details on that exciting development. We have members from across the spectrum of consulting practices, from the very big, the APC houses as we would designate them, that's the international practices who could have global footprint, down to the individual practices where individual traders are very niche in terms of what they're going about in the profession and the provision of services. And we embrace a very wide range of sectors and expertise. We also would add, have a significant cohort of graduate students and more recently undergraduate students within the membership, and we have 23 master's level courses accredited at QQI level 9 rank, which is quite significant, and a very big cohort of graduate students come through. And again, one of the big things for them and for us is the fact that as a global family, membership of the Institute is globally recognized and reciprocally accepted by our fellow institutes right across the globe. So if you're going over to the US, Canada, out into the Middle East, Far East, across into Europe, over into the UK, we have reciprocal houses that will welcome you and recognize your professional qualifications as a management consultant, which is very important from your CV and from your professional accreditation point of view. It's not me you're here to see this morning. So without further ado, look, feel free to contact us. Be delighted to have a chat with you in terms of your membership application if you so wish. And in the meantime, have a great morning. Everyone looking forward to this. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to our colleagues in Google.
And welcome to today's webinar. Thank you so much, Pat, for the introduction. And I'd like to welcome everyone here today from across the globe to the Google Digital Garage training session on digital marketing strategy. As we heard from Pat today, today's webinar is in collaboration with the Institute of Management Consultants and Advisors and Google Digital Garage. We will be running more sessions throughout the rest of this year, and you can find out a bit more about that in the description box below. Hopefully everyone here is comfortable, maybe you have a cup of tea or coffee, and you're all ready to go for a great session on how to build a really thought out and effective digital marketing plan and effectively reach more customers online. Bit of background about myself. My name is Niamh and I'm a trainer here at Google for our free skills training program, Google Digital Garage. Bit of background about myself. I am an experienced digital marketing specialist and trainer, and I have a lot of background working with UK and Irish clients. Currently, I work as an international growth consultant, and I suppose I help companies with their export strategies. Also here, I'd really like to make a warm welcome to our moderator today, Sarah. I know a few of you have already said hello to Sarah in the chat. She is a really experienced Google digital marketing coach, and she'll be interacting with you today throughout the session and answering your questions in the live chat. So if you've already said hello to Sarah, amazing. And if not, please say hello, and you'll notice her by the little blue spanner beside her name. Before we get started, just some quick fire housekeeping. So firstly, any trouble at all viewing this webinar at any point, please just refresh your page. Secondly, if you do want to take part in today's chat, which I would really encourage, all you have to do is make sure you sign up to a YouTube account. So you can do that on desktop in the top right-hand corner, or if you're on a mobile, just in the screen and the little sign up below this video. We will be pausing throughout today's session to answer your questions, so please do keep the questions coming in the chat. Let's make this as interactive as possible. And throughout the session, we'll be pausing, so I'll be taking some of the questions because Sarah there will be doing her best to answer as many as possible as well. Lastly, just like to mention at this point, if you do have feedback throughout the session or at the end of the session, there is a feedback form in the description box below. And if you fill out that form, you will then be able to download today's content, and you'll get access to all the materials that we go through today. And lastly, question that always comes up, will this be recorded? What we will do is this will be live on YouTube for the next 24 hours to rewatch. So if you want to bookmark this tab, that's definitely a good idea. So I think that's all the housekeeping done. So let's get started. So we have three main sections we're going to be covering today. First section, we're going to look at what does the actual digital landscape look like today and what does digital marketing mean for your business. Second section, that's where we're going to be spending most of our time here today, we're going to be looking at the 6 main digital marketing channels. So whether you're brand new to digital marketing or whether you've been using this for some time now with your business, you're all going to leave here with some tips and tricks on how to get the most out of those channels, and we're going to cover how they are and how you would use them. Finally, our last section, we're going to go through how you would build an effective digital marketing plan, and really important, how you actually will measure that plan effectively. Perfect. So now let's move on to, before we take a look, I suppose, and deep dive into digital marketing strategies, let's take a look at the business landscape and the digital marketing landscape for your business in today's world. So I know in the chat, loads of you are coming from, there's some from Australia, from the US. Maybe you'd like to put in what kind of business you are, or if you're a consultant, what kind of business you're working with currently, just so we get an idea of who we have here today. And you might like to put in some kind of opportunities you think being online has for your business. Let's take a look first at the landscape. So if we think about the landscape today, mobile in particular has changed how we behave and how we interact as humans. So never before have we been more connected to information, to knowledge, to people. And if you think about this smartphone that everyone has at their fingertips, this smartphone is more powerful than the computers that NASA used to send astronauts to the moon. So think about how powerful the amount of knowledge and access to information we have at our fingertips. And what that has meant for consumer behavior, that has meant that so much more users are now coming online to buy products and services. So in Ireland, last year in 2020, 65% of the Irish population actually bought a product or a service online. And this is actually expected to continue to rise throughout the rest of 2021. So that's an opportunity for you and your business to get in front of those users. Taking a step back, from a global perspective, there's now 3.8 billion smartphones in use today. So a lot of access to not just people in your domestic or local market, but worldwide as well. Third point there is now mobile traffic accounts for over half of all global web traffic. So back in 2015, it was approximately a third of all global traffic came from mobile. And now roll on less than 6 years, 5 to 6 years, over half of all of the traffic is coming from mobile. So what that explosion in mobile has meant is that there's now so much more people that we are able to reach as businesses online. There's a massive opportunity, so exciting for you and your businesses to be able to reach those people who are looking for your products and services. And it is important to be able to understand, how do people online actually go to look for products and services that are related to your business? And one really great way that you can do this is with a tool called Google Trends. So Sarah will put the link into the chat there, but you can access this, no charge, and anyone can access it at trends.google.com. And essentially what this will do is allow you to compare a number of searches or phrases that users have typed. You can look at a particular region. So in this example, I'm looking at Ireland and a particular time frame. So I'm looking at the past 12 months. And a bit of fun here. So the search term that I like to look at here was cut your own hair. So taking a look back at the previous 12 months, we can see an absolute skyrocket for this term March 2020. So obviously that's when most of the world entered lockdown last year. So that's a bit of fun. We can see a massive peak there, but I suppose bringing it back to how you would use this for your business, really great way to use this tool to understand what are the seasonal trends for your product or service. Do they change over time? And then that's allowing us to inform our digital marketing strategy of, should we actually really push our digital marketing at a certain time, or should we pull back when maybe there's less demand for that particular product or service? If we then look at, I suppose, digital marketing, it's opened up an absolute world of data to us. And being able to use that data to get valuable insights is really, really important. So now we can get information about who visits our website and who are they. So we can kind of understand our consumers a bit more. And then we can use those insights to make our marketing material more relevant. So here I have a screenshot from a tool called Google Analytics. And if any of you have a website, I really would urge you to set up this tool. A really great way to see, okay, how have people interacted with my business website? Here I've just taken a look at, I'm going to give an example of a made up website called NeveShoes.com. So I have NeveShoes.com, that's my website. I set up Google Analytics, and I'm going to look here at demographics to see what age profile are the people coming to NeveShoes.com. What are they, male, are they female? We can get insights into how long they'd spend on the site when they drop off, or maybe kind of who are my repeat customers as well. And all of these tools allow us to make, again, our website and our marketing material more relevant and effective. There's also tools that you can use for your social media. So if you have a social media page, there's tools such as Facebook Insights is one, or we have Twitter Analytics, if that's what you're using also. Another, I suppose, another reason why businesses would be online today is really great way for you to communicate with your consumers really easily and quickly. So whether you are a startup or a massive global brand, I would always advise any client that I work with, the more you can communicate with your customers online, the better that is for building up brand awareness, for building brand trust. So you can see here examples from a global brand like Domino's, or maybe your local startup. Don't be afraid to keep engaging with your customers. Even if there's a negative review, ensure that you engage. It shows trust to the user base. Perfect. So now we know what, I suppose, the benefits are of being online. A, there's more users online than ever before. B, they're looking to actually buy online, so buy a product or buy a service. And 3, it allows us as businesses to communicate really easily with them. So as the digital age is speeding up, there's so many marketing channels that we can actually make use of today. But for today's session, we're going to go through the 6 that I suppose are the most established ones. So if we click on there. So what we have on the screen here is the 6, I suppose, most used digital marketing channels today. So we start on the top left-hand corner, SEO or search engine optimization. Essentially what this is it's the practice of optimizing your website so that when a user goes to search for a term or search for a business, that your actual website or your business is showing up. So for example, if I come back to niamhshoes.com, if someone types in women's boots, and they're in the Dublin region, which I'm in at the minute, I might like to show my website come up or my business come up there for that. So it's no charge, they come up, they occur naturally, and that's SEO, search engine optimization. Then we have SEM, which is essentially you're paying to show up. So same concept, the user will type a query, but instead now we will pay to show up an ad. So SEO and SEM, they occur in the same place, but I suppose they're slightly different in the way they work behind the scenes. The next one then that we're going to be deep diving into is social media marketing, so SMM. So what that is getting in front of your consumers, reaching new people, gaining traffic via social media platforms or apps. And I'm sure we all use social media platforms or apps, so it's using them to get in front of new or existing consumers. The 4th one there is display marketing. So maybe a few of you might not have heard of display marketing before. Essentially, this is online advertising. It can take place in many different formats, such as video, text, image ads. And these are ads that you'll see on websites across the internet. So when you're browsing on a news website, you might see display marketing in the form of banners at the top of the website, or maybe down on the right-hand side or left-hand side of the page. The next form then is email marketing. So essentially email marketing is taking a list of customers' emails that we have collected as a business and then communicating to this list of consumers via email marketing, so via email ads, and really effective way, again, to communicate with your customers online and build that loyalty base. And the last one then that we're going to be going through today is content marketing. So we could spend probably a full session or a full day on content marketing, but essentially this is just looking at the different types and forms of content that we can publish or we can post or share online, such as blogs, videos, infographics. And the whole purpose of content marketing or building a creative is to attract customers and then drive business or drive traffic to our website, for example. Right, so let's go and kick off with search marketing. So essentially, search marketing is all about using the power of search, so the power of intent. If you think about the last time you went to look for a business or a service, likelihood is you probably went to a search engine and typed in what you were looking for. So it's using that power of intent to reach new customers. So I'm going to take a search engine results page, or some people call it a SERP or a SERP, and break it down just to show you the different types of content that we see on the search engine results page. So the first thing that we generally see is a search query. So here, for example, we've seen the query, best compact cameras for travel. So the user has come, they've typed, but sometimes we call it a search query, a search phrase, a keyword. So those are the different types of ways people might describe this. Sometimes they can be really long in nature. And here we have a medium-sized search query. And essentially, this is what the users type when they're looking for your business or service or products related to your business. So start thinking, for your service or maybe for the business that you're consulting at the minute, what are the keywords that users are going to be typing when they're looking for something that you offer? What we see next then in the blue, highlighted in the blue, is this is the paid advertising, so paid search. So it can come in different types of formats. The first ones we see there with the images and price, those are called shopping ads. So shopping ads, they're used by e-commerce companies, so companies who are selling products online, and essentially allows them to show an image of the product. So you can highlight kind of how well your product looks. You can put in your price, a link to your website, and reviews if you have them. And it's really nice to be able to put your business name there if maybe customers recognize you're a local brand, they might actually look then, actually, let's buy with them, they're a local brand. Underneath that then, we have what are called text ads. So essentially in a text ad, we have our title. And so here we have best compact travel cameras. And this allows someone is basically paid to be here. Now, even though they've paid to be here, Google makes sure that whatever ad is showing up is relevant to what the user has typed in their search query. So we can see here that the paid text ad is very relevant to that user's search query. The last chunk then, which is we're going to be going through in a minute, is the organic search listings. So no one has paid to be here. These are naturally occurring and they're showing up because Google thinks that these search organic listings are relevant to the user's search. So you can notice here they're quite similar in terms of the phrases that are in the product titles is similar to what that user has actually searched. So I think let's first deep dive into how we can make sure our businesses are actually showing up in that green section, in those organic listings. So we could do a full training on SEO, and we actually do have another webinar that we've ran on that. You can find that at the Google Digital Garage Skills Training, so in the information box below. And if you're really interested in SEO, you might like to take that training. But essentially, I'm going to go through kind of quickly, I suppose, what would be the best practices for SEO. So first of all, if you have a website or you're just about to set up a website, really great tool to use is Google Search Console, again, available at no charge. And essentially what Google Search Console will allow you to do is see how your site is ranking in the Google organic search listings. So if you've had a website for ages, maybe you'll be able to see where you rank. If you have a brand new website, chances are you might not be showing up yet. So what you might like to do is submit what's called a site map into the Search Console. Essentially what the Search Console allows you to see is what type of keywords that you're showing up for, where you're ranking, and it's a really great way to, I suppose, to see if you've made changes on your website and you're really working on SEO. And I suppose I should make the point, SEO is a continuous thing that you should be working on. It's not just going to quick fix happen overnight. But if you're making continuous changes, you can start to see, okay, how have my ranks improved and am I showing up for new keywords, for example. You can also set up alerts. So let's say, for example, Google bots aren't able to crawl your website or a web page has gone missing, for example. We are able to basically send alerts to you so you're able to know pretty quickly and be able to see, okay, actually, I'm not showing up anymore. I need to fix something on the back end of my site. Next thing you consider is if you're a brand new website or if you've had a website for a while, you can consider submitting a site map. So this essentially allows you to tell Google how your site is structured and how your site is basically able to be indexed by Google to show on the search listings. So in part of this, what I would say is that it's really important to continuously update your content. So the more new content that you can provide on your site, the more likelihood that Google will kind of recognize actually this is relevant to user searches. So have a think of, can we add anything seasonal or can we add any more information that users might be looking for onto our website? Third point then is, in terms of actually laying out the structure of your site, really important that for every page on your website, you have a unique and specific page title. So make sure, even if you've had a website for years, really good practice to go back and just check this, and maybe after today's session, that your page titles are actually relevant to the information that's on that particular web page. So the reason why that's important is if I come back here for a minute, and if we look at in the green box here, the first option there, best travel compact cameras in 2018, that is an example of a page title. So really important to make sure that our page titles are kind of unique and they're accurate. Next thing then, what you can do is create what's called a snippet or a meta description. So this is, we have the page title in the organic search listing, and then below that you might see one or two sentences about that page or about the business. So important to go back and see, do I have snippets or meta descriptions added in? If you're using a web platform such as Wix or Squarespace, it should be really easy and straightforward to add these in. So I would just make sure that we have them there. And again, I suppose it is really important we're making our content for humans. We want to make sure our website is easily accessible for humans and be able to understand it. But again, just making these simple changes like the page titles, the meta descriptions, the snippets, that allows Google bots also then to index our site and improve our organic search listing. So some top tips, I suppose, to improve your site's visibility. One, run keyword research. So start to think, what are the kind of terms or searches that people are going to be doing when they're looking for products or services related to your business. Tools that you can use, we went through Google Trends is one. If you're using Google paid marketing, you can use a tool called Google Keyword Planner. And maybe if you're kind of, sorry, there was a little thing that popped up on my screen there. Apologies for that. And maybe if you are kind of starting out fresh, what I'd say is no matter if you've been in business for years or your brand new website, you know your business more than anyone. So do your own research and brainstorm yourself. What are the particular keywords that people might be searching for? Second thing then, really important, make sure you're optimizing the actual content on your site. Make sure it's high quality. And again, going back to those page titles and meta descriptions to make sure it's easy for Google to understand your website. And then third, make your site kind of web search friendly. And again, as part of this, I'd make sure that it's mobile friendly. You can also check this in the Search Console, how kind of your site is appearing on mobile as well. Right, so if we move on also, as part of SEO or organic listings, you can also show your business locally. So a vast majority of the searches that people do every day are actually local in nature. So they might be looking for a local cafe or a local business in their area. And a tool that you can use to make sure that you're getting in front of people and showing off your business is a tool called Google My Business. So Google My Business looks like this, what we see on the phone on the right. And essentially what it does is allows you to show people online where your business is located, what your opening hours are, maybe a menu if you're a restaurant, or a list of services if you're a service provider. And what you can do is also add photos of your team and of your business and respond to reviews that you have. So would always recommend to any client that I work with, go back and check and make sure that your Google My Business is as full of information as possible, because this is something that, again, there's no charge, it's organically occurring. So make sure that you're making the most of it online. Perfect. So we've taken a look at SEO. Now it's time to look at SEM, or search engine marketing. So the differences between the two, I think, is good to note. First of all, SEO, it's available no charge, which means that, of course, you can benefit it and you don't have to pay anything. What we do is we optimize towards keywords. We've just learned that. And again, it can take some time, I suppose, to actually rank on Google. If we look at then SEM, it's occurring in the same place, but the difference is that we're paying to occur. So what we're doing is we're deciding what keywords we want to show up for, and we bid on those keywords. I suppose benefit is it can allow you to potentially get to the first page straight away. But I suppose let's take a deep dive into search engine marketing to see how it works and what you might like to consider if you are running SEM. So there's three main steps to kind of get started. First of all, we have to make sure that we have a Google Ads account. So you can set up an account, log into your Google Ads account, and then go to create a campaign. So first of all, there's loads of different types of campaigns. We have seen there was shopping ads and search ads that we saw in the green box a few slides back, and the blue box, sorry, a few slides back. But if we are looking at search campaigns first, the way I'd like to tell you how to break down your search campaigns is to think of your products and organize them in terms of, if I was a shoe provider, for example, I might have one campaign for Wellington boots, one campaign for women's heels, and one campaign for men's boots, for example. So think of what way you want to structure your campaigns. Then have a think of what targeting options you want to go for. Choose a city or a country. Maybe you want to go globally and target overseas, not just your domestic market. If you want to target users only at a certain time of day, you can specify what time of day you want to show up at. Or maybe there's a certain time of day you don't want to run at and you want to turn off your ads for that day. You can also do that. The second point then is deciding, okay, what keywords do I actually want to pay to show up for? So try to align your keywords with your website and with your business goals. So I'd always make sure that your website, your keywords, and then whatever ad you have, that they all should match up. They all should have the same kind of theme among them. If there's some keywords that you actually say, I don't want to pay for them, I don't want to show up for them, we can add them in as negative keywords. The third point then is the exciting bit, so coming to actually write your ad. So really key to kind of focus on the user benefits. Make sure you're putting those keywords in the title of your ads to make sure we get the best results. And then focus on, I suppose, the headline imagery, and make sure we have something called ad extensions. Make sure we're adding in ad extensions. It just makes your ad look bigger on the search engine page. So you get more real estate for the same price. Essentially then some tips for search engine marketing. One, optimize your keyword list, continually stay on top of it, see, okay, what keywords have actually led to a sale or someone submitting a lead if you're a B2B business. Two, make sure you're boosting your ads with extensions. So we talked about that before. Extensions are essentially just make your ad bigger. They add extra lines of text below your ad, and they'll actually probably help to make your ads cheaper in the long run and improve your click-through rate, so the amount of traffic you're driving via those ads. And three, really important for any kind of advertising that we run online, any kind of digital advertising, it's all about measurement. So make sure that you set up an analytics account, so you can set up a Google Analytics account and see, okay, how have my ads actually worked? What was the success of them on my website? Perfect. So now we're going to get on to display. I'm going to take a quick water break here. Perfect. So display marketing is, in a nutshell, using graphic advertising on websites, apps, social media platforms through the form of banners, or it might be text, images, flash, video, audios. So the purpose, I suppose, of display marketing, or why you might like to use it, is A, to deliver kind of a general advertisement to a selected audience. It can help to generate brand awareness. And maybe if users have been on your website before and we're trying to get them back on, maybe they didn't buy with us, we can use display marketing in the form of remarketing to get them back onto our site. So what these ads actually look like, I'm sure most of you have seen them before. So here we have an example of 3 different types of display ads that have been put onto this website. So they can be in the form of banners that come at the top of the page. We can also see them down the right-hand side of the page. And there's numerous different formats that we can use. Here we see it's mostly image ads with some text overlay on them as well. They come in loads of different shapes and sizes, depending on whether they're an image or a text. And they appear on websites across the internet, such as, let's say, The Guardian, newspaper. You could have Sky, you could have Tech Radar, and also shopping sites like eBay and Amazon, you might see them on as well. What I would say is that a really great way to use display ads is with what I've just talked about there, remarketing. So let's say, for example, we can see Lean Plum there on the bottom right-hand corner. That's a marketing platform. I might have gone onto Lean Plum as a user, didn't know if I was ready to actually submit myself to get a report from them, so I came off the website. What Lean Plum then have done is they've remarketed to me and shown me an ad when I'm not thinking about Lean Plum anymore. I'm just browsing across the internet, and now an ad comes up. So it's trying to get users' attention and try to draw them back onto your website. And display marketing is a really great way to do that. How would you get started with display advertising? So maybe you think, I want to have my business appear in these type of ad content. First of all, again, we log into our Google Ads and you can select a display campaign. Then you'll select your goals. So maybe your goal is to drive awareness. Maybe it's to drive traffic or to drive sales. So we need to select and have a think about what our goal is of our actual campaign. Really important for display because there's less intent. If you think about search, users have actually come to search for a business or product, whereas display, they're browsing on websites across the internet. So really important we be specific about who we're actually trying to target with display marketing. So you might like to target based on what keywords people have been typing, and maybe based on their demographic, or maybe there's certain websites we say, actually, I like to appear on these type of websites because I think my users would generally be on those type of topics or placements. Then it comes to the creative, which is really important. Making sure right language. So if we're going after users in France, make sure that the content is in French, and have catchy copy. So you'll probably know yourself, we've all seen these ads across websites. Have a think about what you've liked and what you've actually clicked on, and some ads that you've thought, actually, I don't like the look of that. So have a think, put yourself in the user's shoes, and try and make the ads as compelling and action orientated as possible. One thing to note here is that generally, we already went through about how many users are on mobile. If you're going to have text in your display ads, make it big, or if you have an image of a product, make sure it's front and center of the image, because on mobile, generally, it's smaller screen. So just make sure that you keep that in mind when creating your display ad content. And that goes for all the content that we're going to be going through today, such as social media, search, and email as well. So some top tips for success in display. One, really important to understand our customers, like where do we actually want to target them? Who are we actually looking to target? Who are our most valuable customers? Second point then is enhance with remarketing. I mentioned this before. If a user maybe has come to our site, but they didn't buy with us, we might want to target them via display to get them back on. Lastly, test and optimize. So same as all the other channels that we're going to be going through, digital marketing is a great way to measure how well your campaigns have done, and then adapt and alter based on the results that you've gotten. The way I suppose display advertising works in terms of bidding is that you can either decide to bid every time someone clicks, so a cost per click basis. So you'll only pay if someone actually clicks on the ad, or you can pay on a cost per 1,000 impressions basis. So you can decide, actually, I want to just get brand awareness. I want to target loads of users, and I want to pay every time 1,000 users have seen my ad. So there's different ways you can do it, and it all goes back to whatever your goal is as part of the campaign. Amazing. So next we have social media marketing. I might take a quick pause here just to see if there's any questions in the chat. So we have a chat here from Lionheart Management Consultants, and the question is, what is the ideal text size to display? So essentially, when you're making your display ad within Google Ads itself, whenever you're making up the campaign, it will be requested that you submit different sizes of images. So you will be able to submit smaller images, and bigger text as well. So what I would say is that generally then what we can do is, when they're actually being put onto the websites, some websites will have a smaller inventory in terms of the size, so then we'll use your smaller image. Or if there's a banner, maybe we'll be able to use your bigger image. For the actual text that's on the website, in terms of the text size, what I'd recommend is 36 is fine. Generally, what I'd say is that if you can actually see what it looks like on a mobile when you're building your campaign. So you'll be able to see pretty clearly, actually, this looks a bit too small on the mobile preview, so then I'll change the text. So you will be able to see what it looks like before you actually launch your campaign. So really great question there from Lionheart Management Consultants. You will be able to see what it looks like before your campaign even goes live, which is a great feature. So now we're going to get started with social media marketing. I suppose this is slightly newer type of marketing, and it's where a lot of users are now spending their time. So if we think about how much time maybe you spend on social media platforms, a lot of us will hang out here. It's a great way to do business. It's a great way to kind of interact with friends or family. And there's different types of social media channels. So there's some of them that are a bit more business related, such as LinkedIn, and some that are a bit more social, such as maybe Facebook or Instagram. It's a really great way to run either top or bottom of the funnel marketing activity and reach people, I suppose, when they're browsing on their app platforms or their social media platforms. So if you are considering starting a social media for your company, I suppose there's loads of benefits, but these are just some of the benefits that you might think of why it would add value for your business. So one, really great way to generate new sales. So 62% of the Irish population are currently monthly active users on social media. So what that means is it's a really great place to connect with these customers. So reach new audiences, create new business opportunities, target demographics, really great way to target demographics. And then also organically build up your network and build up relationships with your consumer base. Second thing then, really great way to add value to your brand. So you're in control of what you are posting on social media or ads that you're running on social media. So really great way to kind of build that brand image, show a new side to your business and build that community. And what a lot of brands actually do now is use social media platforms for their customer service to interact with customers. So if you're using it for this way, the quicker that you respond, the better. And it's a really nice way to allow a two-way conversation between you and the consumer. Lastly, then obviously you can improve your marketing. So you can understand on social media who your customers are, who do they follow, and when are they maybe most interactive. And this can help you attract new users actually to your website as well and gain valuable customer insights. We spoke about insights at the start as well. It can also allow you to keep an eye on competitors. So what are they doing on their social media channels, and can we maybe adapt our marketing to what they're doing, or maybe should we learn from them of what we would like to improve maybe. So there's two different types of social media marketing. One is organic, so that's no charge. You're looking to drive views, actions from posts that you actually create or that you put up online. And yeah, no charge to them. I suppose one kind of limitation to that is that generally with that, you'll only be able to reach your followers and their friends. But also on organic social media, it's a really great way to build kind of your following and build for your business a business profile. Maybe it's on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, for example. Then we have paid social media. So this is where we're actually paying to drive the views, the actions, the clicks. And it does allow you to reach people that maybe have no idea that your business even exists or that your product even exists. So I suppose it's a way to get more reach and go after a new type of customer. So if we get started with social media marketing, first of all, really important to define who your audience is. So similar to the display marketing that we saw, social media is such a great way to really be specific about who we want to target. So have a think about for your business or service, or maybe you're consulting a business at the minute, have a think of who are their customers, what they're into, what might influence them, what they usually spend their time at online, and maybe what social media channels that they actually use. So we can see here in the middle, there's a load of different social media channels out there these days. Some are more business focused, as we said there, like LinkedIn. Some are more lifestyle focused. So it really depends on what type of business you are. Are you looking to go after maybe a younger demographic or more lifestyle focus, or maybe you're trying to go after a different form of users that might be on LinkedIn, for example, or YouTube. Last one then, really important to, if you do have even an organic or if you're paying for social media, make sure that you're putting up new content regularly. And people love to get a glimpse of what's going on. So maybe share announcements about what's been happening in your business. Really great way to engage with customers is how-to content. And that's blown up in popularity in the last kind of few years. You might like to run a theme. I would really emphasize that whatever you're doing across your social media channels, you should have the same kind of brand perception being put out there. So don't change completely the kind of content that you're posting on Instagram versus Facebook versus YouTube. That will just confuse users. So make sure that you're consistent throughout all of your social media marketing. And yeah, loads of different types of content you can use. There's blog posts, videos, photos, etc. So if we have some of kind of the tips for success, so obviously we know what the benefits are. We're able to reach niche targeting, and it really complements also organic search because we're building up that kind of brand awareness and user base. And tips for success, number one, ensure you set yourself a goal. So ask yourself, it's such a simple question, but just ask yourself, what are you actually hoping to achieve with social media? So if you ask yourself that question, generally everything else should fall into place, but just have a goal for yourself, whether it's organic social media or you're actually paying for it. Then try to understand who is our audience. So are we trying to look for new audience? Are we trying to reach kind of existing customers and bring them in and try to get them to buy from us more often? You might have loads of different types of audiences, but just be clear about what they are and maybe have a list written out of who are your audiences and really think about who you're looking to target. Again, it's important that whatever platform that you're using, that you're regularly updating it, that you're consistent, that you are trying to engage with users when they are online. Perfect. The next form is email marketing. So email marketing today, we are bombarded with product choices and business choices. So sometimes if we want to try to stay on top of consumers' brains or on top of their minds, a really great way to do that is with email marketing. So it's a good addition to bring on top of other digital marketing activities that you can run. And why is that? I suppose it helps to build customer loyalty and build engagement without necessarily breaking the bank. It also works really well on mobile also. So unlike one-to-one messages, email marketing, what it entails is sending out one message to multiple people. It could be dozens, hundreds, even thousands of people. And it's all permission-based. So that means that readers have opted in, or users have opted in to receive your newsletter or updates about your business. So I'd be thinking about they've given you the opportunity to communicate with them. Make sure that whatever we are giving them is useful and that it's actually relevant information. So if you would like to get started with email marketing, the first is to actually choose what email marketing platform that you're going to go with. So generally these platforms are available at no charge. So you can, they're no charge. But there's also more technical ones also that have a range of functionalities. Some examples of email marketing platforms. There's MailChimp, ActiveCampaign is another one, SendGrip or Drip. So that's just an example of some ones that you might like to use. I suppose the importance of email marketing, that it's heavily reliant on what the quality of your list is. So email marketing works when your audience actually wants to hear from you. So for example, you might like to take kind of, if you have subscribers, maybe do a quick sense check and ask them how often do they want to hear from you? Do they want to hear monthly, weekly? And then that gives you kind of a good indication of how often we should be running these type of campaigns or how often we should be sending out our email marketing. Again, really important. I love this line, treat your users like VIPs. If you have subscribed to your email list, most of us have probably gotten marketing emails. We get them in our inbox all the time. Make sure that the content that you're giving them is really valuable and useful. It allows you kind of a good chance to show off a bit of your personality. So show off what is the tone of your business. Do you have a sense of humor? Maybe you're a bit more serious, but like remind the customers why they actually signed up to get your emails in the first place. And then keep it useful. So think about emails maybe that you open up and then you delete straight away. We don't want to be one of those. We want to make sure that we're engaging and that we're actually benefiting the customer in some way. So tips for success with email marketing. One, I suppose, is segment groups. So you'll have a list of emails. There might be certain messages that you want to give out to certain audience groups. So segment your groups and then tailor your email marketing messaging to those particular groups. Second option, really important, I keep it short. People are bombarded with emails every single day. So if you are going to be sending out email marketing, keep it short, to the point. If you are looking to send, let's say, a large piece of content, maybe have a quick link away from the rest, or use kind of titles to make it easy for your readers to scan. Again, as with all of the channels, measurement is key. So measure and open kind of how well are your campaigns doing. So the few things to look out for. One is your clicks, so your click rate. Determine what was the success of the campaign based on kind of how much your click rate was up or down. And this can reveal trends in your subscribers as well. The click rate is a good indication for that. Next is the unsubscribe rate. So good to have a look at after each campaign that you run, what was your unsubscribe rate? So how many users actually unsubscribed? So on average, approximately less than 1% is the average for users who are updated regularly and well maintained. So if you do find your unsubscribe rate has gone up quite a lot after a certain campaign, good opportunity to have a look at maybe we were doing something a little bit off, or maybe the user didn't like the content, or maybe we're sending them too frequently or not enough. So good chance to have a review of how you're doing. And then lastly, I suppose you can look at signups since your last campaign. So if you run a campaign and signups, if you got new subscribers off the back of that or new traffic to your website, that's another really great indication that the campaign was successful. Perfect. So our last session then is content marketing. So essentially content marketing is what kind of creative or content we're going to post out to our users. So it can take form in it can take place in many different forms. We have videos, blogs, case studies, guides. So some of them might be a little bit longer. So we call them long forms. They might be 100,000 plus characters. And then some might be short form. So 300 to 500 words, such as maybe a Facebook post or a tweet. Key tips to kind of good content marketing or making sure that your creative is as valuable as possible is who are we actually looking to target? Again, what is the persona? If we're looking to target a particular persona, for example, if you're using a video and you're targeting a certain age group, have that age group in the video. Or if you're looking to target a particular interest, make sure you're calling that out in your blog post or in your infographic, for example, or image. Next is, depending on what stage of the customer journey is at, you might like to put out different forms of content. So if a user hasn't even heard of your business before, that's going to be a very different type of content to someone who's already bought from you and we're trying to get them to repurchase. So plan out, okay, what kind of customer we're actually looking to target, at what stage are they out of the journey, and then base your content on that. Lastly then, make sure that we're using content to actually generate business. So give them information on the product, try to find the right channels to actually target them. So again, we kind of spoke about that in the last few sections. And lastly, include a call to action. So if you have a content, make sure you're driving action off the back of that. So whether it's a blog post, let them know what to do, what's the next steps, or if it's a video, what is the action you want them to take. So the kind of 4 key tips here are: 1, ensure that we're actually facilitating the sales process. So make sure that what our video, if we're talking about, let's say I'm trying to sell this phone as part of a video, make sure it's front and center of the screen, because that's what we're trying to get the user to do. Include storytelling. I know from speaking with Pat, the IMCA, you had a webinar on storytelling a while back, so maybe you've learned some tips from that. Include that in your content. Next is distribute it to maximize reach. So you use different forms of content, use your organic and paid advertising to kind of drive reach. And then again, measure the success and then learn, actually, was this good or not? Again, for mobile, we'll make the point, if you're doing a video, make sure that it's front and center, that you have products close to the screen versus really far away, just because users are going to be watching on their video, on their mobiles. First, quick pause for questions. I know we're tight on time, so actually I've just found them from Sarah. She seems to be taking care of all your questions, so no questions there. So for the last kind of 5 minutes, what we have is, okay, we know about all the channels, we know why we need to do digital marketing. So now it's trying to take a look at what would a plan actually look like. So 6 key steps to our plan. 1, think about what is your business goal and what is your objective. So this is really, really key. And no matter, a lot of the brands that I work with, this is where we spend most of our time, actually deciding what is the goal and objective of even running a campaign. So spend time on this. 2, what are our budget or our resource? So maybe we have very limited budget and we want to focus more on organic. Or if we have a budget, make sure that it's actually linked back to what our goals and expectations are. So you don't want to get to the end of your campaign and be disappointed that whatever you invested, maybe you didn't get the return on investment you were looking for. So just think about what budget you have and what your expectations are for that particular budget or resource. 3, think about your audience. Who are we looking to target? 4, what channels are we actually going to target them on? And then 5, be strategic about your planning. So we're going to go through an example plan now, but this is a great way to kind of be detailed and plan out our activities. And then 6, when we finished it and we've implemented it, measure. So I'm sure we've all heard of SMART before. So be specific. Who are we actually looking to target? What are we looking to achieve? M, make sure that whatever we're doing is quantifiably measurable. And if it's not able to, if you don't have to quantify it, make sure at least there's an indicator of success. A, assignable. Who in the business is owning this? Who's going to actually looking after it or in charge? Or realistic. So this is what I'd say to most of the customers I work with. Let's be realistic about what we're looking to achieve. And that will make sure that everyone in the business is happy when the campaign is finished. And then T, time related. Over what time frame are you actually looking to run your activity? So maybe it's an always on campaign, or maybe it's just for a particular time frame. So here are some examples of goals. Most of us, hopefully by now you've had an understanding of what your goals and objectives are. So it could be from increasing traffic to maybe driving reach or awareness. So we're going to take a look at Max. Max is a hairdresser, and he's our example for today. So his business goal is to ensure he gets new customers through the door, both new and past, and he wants to make sure that people in his local area know his business exists. So it's really great objective and goal for Max. Next question, he looks at budget and resource. So he says, I actually don't have a website yet, too much of investment right now. That's fine. At least he has set realistic expectations. He doesn't have much investment right now. Audience. So this is a really great way to think about who your audience is. So Max has thought about, okay, he's targeting females in his local area. His valuable customers are usually above the age of 30 and female. They normally have children, work part-time, and most of them use Facebook. So it's really, really great. You can see here only 4 sentences, sorry, but he's detailed really clearly what his audience is. He might have another type of audience, but we're just going to stick with this one for the minute. Next, he's got to decide, okay, what platforms am I going to use or what channels am I going to use? So listen, none of them are mutually exclusive. And for example, driving online reach and awareness, of course, we can use display or social media or content marketing, but actually maybe email marketing is really great to do that as well. So I think here's just a list of some examples that depending on what objective you are, you might like to choose a certain marketing channel. But yeah, I think it depends on what your business is as well. Will depend on what channel you actually go for and what content you already have available to you. So back to Max. So this is the fun bit. He's actually planning his activity. So what do we know about Max? He wants to reach people in his local area. He wants to get returning customers. He doesn't have a website now, too much of an investment. And now he's asking us here, how do I actually use digital? So let's say we're consulting Max. We would say, first point, list your business on Google My Business, no charge. He can also look to maybe create a website. There's website builders, Google Sites, it's free of charge or there's no charge to it either. So that's one way he can get out there in front of new customers or existing customers in the local area. Next, he might look to set up a Facebook page where he will collect reviews, post pictures of new hairstyles, and maybe get kind of creative with the posts that he's making on Facebook to build kind of awareness and build an excitement about his salon. Then lastly, if he does have some kind of investment, he might like to use Facebook advertising to actually target those 30-year-olds in his local area to attract new customers with offers, for example. So that's Max. Then he can measure his goals. So I'm going to skip down. If we can just look at this smart objective screen here. So these are really good examples of smart measurable objectives. So he wants to measure his Facebook likes, how much they increased, and he wants to try drive them by 50% over the next month. So really great way, make sure that there's a time frame in there, make sure there's some kind of quantifiable measurement, and be specific about what you're actually looking to achieve. So again, as I said, if you do fill out the feedback form in the description box below, you will get all this content that we've gone through, and you will get a recap of the 6 steps that we need to kind of be thinking of, no matter if we're a small startup or we're a global business. Everyone will do this. They'll go through these 6 steps and really think about what we're looking to get out of our digital marketing plan. And if you follow each of these 6 steps, you're on the road to success. I think we're nearly at time here, so I don't know if there's any more questions. So we're going to wrap up now. Next steps for all of you. I would really recommend to take a look at Google for Small Businesses. It kind of goes through a lot of what we went through today. You'll get up information on how to show up on Google, how to actually create a website or improve the website that you already have, and how to reach new customers online. So do take a look at that, and hopefully Sarah will put the link in the description box there. Lastly then, just want to say, if you would like to continue your learning, you can look at the other webinars that we have provided in the description box below. I'd like to say an absolute massive thank you to everyone at the Institute of Management Consultants and Advisors. Big thank you to Pat, and we will be running more webinars like this throughout the year, so watch out for them. If you would like to see our upcoming scheduled events, in the description box below. If you would like to get the content from today, you will just have to fill out the feedback form in the box below, and we will send you out all of the content. And again, if you would like to share your experience, do post on social media. Let us know how you found today's webinar. Use the hashtag #DigitalGarage. So Again, just a massive thank you to everyone. Thank you for being so engaged in the chat. Thank you for paying attention. And yeah, hope you all have an absolutely fantastic weekend, and hopefully see you at another webinar soon.